Whether you're new to pool and practicing the basics, or a more experienced player performing drills to improve your shot making and positional play, the Drill Partner is perfect for you.
Fuck, did I put you on?
Hey, we're on a live mic, buddy. We're live. Yeah, we are. We're live.
Well, then shut it down and put it back on.
We're live. We start over?
Yes.
Take two?
Yes.
Have another drink, Mike, will you? 'Cause I like Uncle Mike whenever he's a little sauced.
I'm not sauced. I just got
Definitely not
things.
sauced because you barely even took a sip out of that one, buddy. Welcome to another episode of Dogging It. Molina Mike here, the always professional Michael Pinozo of Billiards
that was a
Digest.
cold roll there, bro.
It just so happened as soon as the thing went live.
I'm ragging on somebody, and it wasn't even not even for a billiard magazine.
Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me and see me all right. Having a hard time myself. It's a little late. It's midnight here in Manila, and the clock's about to strike 12 for Team Europe here pretty soon. Because
wow, nice move.
That was pretty good,
Nice.
man. Yes. All right, I'm out of here. That's all we can do. Can't go any better than that.
Yeah, you've been great. We'll see you next week. Yeah.
All right, Mike. So we had a pre-show earlier. I don't know how the audio came through. Joey Ryan texted me and said that audio was not so good. Joey, hopefully, will be joining the show.
He comes on and he starts criticizing the show and then says how he's coming back.
You know me, Mike. I just go. I recorded. I thought it was going to be good. I hit the send button, but something was up with the audio, so we'll have to figure that out later on. But anyhow, bloodbath kind of day. Not today, but yesterday. Really.
It wasn't a bloodbath, but this was Team Asia basically saying, don't get any ideas because it's not happening.
Yep, that's
right?
fair.
So we knew that Team Europe was going to come out today, and they had to come out swinging. We both liked their doubles pairing with Jason and Fran, right?
Yeah.
And so the team match was a big deal. If
Right.
they can come out and win the team match and then win that second match, all of a sudden you're getting off the schneid a little bit. You've got two under your belt. You're starting to, it's not a huge comeback, but you've got some confidence. And in the team match, they sent Jason out first. Wasn't surprised because we looked at the lineup and you knew that they were going heavy Jason. Jason was going to take that
a little
leadership.
ballsy.
Well, taking that leadership role, carrying people on his back. He's been playing the best of them anyways. And so he's like, I'm going to get you guys going. I'm going to light the fire on.
It's another slippery slope, Mike, because the heavy is the head that wears the crown. It is.
And I think that he's confident that he could do it. And so he came out. He was the first off the bench in the team match, was running through balls and promptly missed the six.
It set the tone. And I'm jokingly, I'm talking to you and I'm like, this is probably not going to end up good for Team Europe.
And
but
it didn't. The second game was Fran. He missed.
Yeah, Fran.
The third game was Mickey.
So Fran sold out a 3-ball. Mickey
ran through the whole rack, ran to the 9.
Perfect on the 9-ball, Mike.
Well, perfect, but he was on the rail.
No.
Yeah,
the 9-ball was on the rail.
The 9-ball was on the rail, and he was kind of straight, and he just missed it, right?
Jokingly, I looked over to you and I said, he better not dog it.
Yes.
And then but there was like 0 chance the kid was going to dog it, and then it was just like
100% chance he was going to dog it.
Couldn't believe it, Mike.
And Carlo got up,
laughing.
Laughing because he hadn't
gave
even
him
been
the
out
sword.
of his chair yet.
He got the sword out and he
did
put
the
it in there.
Chichi Rodriguez thing, and then it was lights out from there. That was not the start that they wanted, and
not the start that you needed.
Yeah, no, it was. They really needed that team match, and they sold it out completely. And give Team Asia credit as they have done for the first 3 days. If you
have they gotten the credit though, Mike, or has it been more of like a European excuse type of situation?
It depends on who you talk to.
Yeah,
right. I mean, if you talk to your Team Europe players, we missed opportunities. They got roles. We can't catch a break. They sound like Team USA.
Yeah.
Yikes. Well, I mean, we've been through it. We've watched Team USA get beat like a drum, and then you talk to them afterwards, and you think, wow, this match was almost even.
Yeah.
So that's just the way it is. That's the competitive nature, guys. I don't even have a problem with that. You want them to believe that they almost won all the time. And they'll usually admit, I mean, the Team Europe players have said, listen, these guys have played really good, but, they've gotten all the rolls and we missed a couple shots. And,
no, I mean, it's not rolls when you're missing balls like the way they're missing. It's not a roll when you miss the 9-ball. It's not a roll whenever you miss 7-ball. I'm sure they weren't saying it was a roll whenever Huang missed 7 ball or Yap missed an 8 ball or Carlo missed a 1 ball in that team match, and so it's got to be a two-way street there. I feel like it's a combination of that lack of energy plus the fact that, hey, listen, you kind of got exposed a little bit. You got exposed for the fact that while Jason is a great captain and can bring a lot of energy to the team, I also feel like he also gets stronger as he's got aces up his sleeve, and let's just be real, they're not there right now,
No,
and so
Kachi
is not.
This is not the team that we've seen in recent years, and we know that Jason and Kyle both would have loved to roll in here with the same team they've had for the last 2 years at Mosconi Cup, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't. And you're seeing how different the chemistry is. You're seeing how different the performance is. So it's
let me try to adjust the audio here before we continue. Hang on tight. I'm going to mess around just a little bit. All right, let me know now if you guys can hear us all right. Hopefully the audio is a little better. Oh, there goes the microphone as I say that. Let me know if you guys can hear us. I know you guys can see us a little bit. Jay says the audio is better. Aaron says better as well. Okay, perfect. Mike, before we continue on to what was day number 3 and then kind of talk about day number 2 a little bit, I want to let you know the cat's out of the bag, Mike.
Which cat? There be cats all over the place in the arena. There be cats in the arena.
I didn't mean that. No, I did not mean that. I meant you being a pool player, Mike. The cat was out of the bag. We went to Marboys last night, and I've heard for years how Mike doesn't play pool, and the guy had it set to automatic last night. Okay, we ran out of rack, Mike.
I don't play pool. I mean, I've been around this business a long time, right?
Yeah.
You talk to all the people who I've known for 20 years, 30 years, ask them how many times they've seen me hit a ball.
I've never seen you hit a ball.
Yeah. I don't play pool.
Yeah. Well, you were playing last night at Marboys. You were playing last night at Marboys. It was a great venue.
It's a great room.
Training facility, I would say. Mike.
Yeah, J.R. Velasco. Well, downstairs is basically, that's
club.
the kind of the public space, and upstairs is for the top players, and anytime they're in the room, they get the practice table for as long as they want.
I walk in there, and there's Bernie Regulario, there's Marvin Assis, there's the
Gonzalez
semi-finalist and Jeffrey Rhoda Hanoi Open was sitting there just hanging out.
Yeah, killers all and good food, great equipment,
great food,
great atmosphere, and just total respect for the game, which is what I love more than anything. Great place, and
they got such a good energy and passion, and just you can tell it's a family. You can tell that they're business. You can tell that guys take it seriously. At the same time, though, you can tell that there's loyalty there, and guys look out for each other. JR was mentality
that JR is building up.
It's a culture, Mike.
With these young kids, it's like, okay, we want you to
respect the
game, respect your opponent, respect what you're doing, respect it as a job, and first and foremost, do this to provide for your family, to get better, to bring honor to your country, things like that. And these young kids are buying in because, and I think that's the real strength of having a group of players as opposed to just
iron sharpens iron, Mike.
And so So they're with each other and they see it, and they've got leaders. They've got Chua is number one in that group, and they all follow his lead because he is so professional.
It's so cool to see him kind of come into that role, Mike. Because I remember I've been a fan of Chua's for well over 10 years, and he was always the kid with a lot of potential, kind of looking up, and Copin, he's my idol, and Carlo's my idol. And now he's sharing a stage with them. He's getting his own titles with his own right and his respect, and it's cool to see him kind of blossom into a great young man. Then you see all
the other players follow him. I mean, even guys his age, Jeffrey Ignacio, James Aranis, they look up to Chua like because he is so respected, and he has always played by the book, and he's done things the right way. And guys like Jeff and James, have kind of not always done things, but they're learning that that there is benefit to doing things the right way. And so kudos to guys like Johan, kudos to guys like JR and Marvin who run Marboys.
Great guys, super
great
nice.
guys.
They had no idea we were showing up, and they just
Yeah,
you would have thought we were family walking in there. Mike.
Yeah, no, great stuff. So yeah, that was a lot of fun last night. Yeah,
I'm hearing after party tomorrow, Mike.
Okay.
You really want? Yeah. Okay.
Just put the word party in the sentence, and I'm there.
Let's go. We said, let's go. No, it was super great, and we had a good time. We didn't get to hang out too long, but I tell you, it was only because it was a late night. But we were feeling it this morning because I was wore out, man. I'm not used to staying out super late. Yeah, no. That's for sure. But the Philippines has treated us very well. Back to the event. You know, we a lot of chatter online, Mike. The venue some more, and the crowd some more, and
let me say this about the venue and the crowd. It's there's so much of this stuff which is camera angles and what you see and what you don't see. Someone said online today it looked like there's about 200 people in there. No, there were 1,000 people in there.
Yeah.
It's just the stands go up behind the head of the table and they go kind of high and it's kind of narrow, but that's about 900 people right there, and it was full. But what you see table level, and you see the sides of the table, and they just had some VIP
and the
couches,
entrance area that
so
they're watching on every
the players coming in. So you see a lot of empty seats because it's a 6,000 seat basketball arena.
Yeah.
So looks can be deceiving. I think they were hoping and expecting there would be more than that people, but still 1,000 people the first time you roll into town for a tournament is not a bad showing.
Well, and that's when it's a little out of line too, for day 3, because I'm a sports fan, Mike. When it's a blowout, I'm probably looking to see what else is going to be on the television.
Yeah, no, it's something that's going to take a couple of years to really build up, but I think that this is low hanging fruit. They're going to get there really quickly here in Manila, getting people to buy in. They just have to figure out what's the right arena, what's the right setup to make it look great, and how do you get more of the people in there.
You're going to get a European team that's fired up, or an American team that's fired up, one way or the other, coming into Manila as well.
Yeah, well, and we've talked about this before too. This is not, that's why I've always argued the Mosconi Cup, whether U.S. loses 10 years in a row, doesn't make any difference. It's not going anywhere. It is here forever because you've got that natural rivalry between Europe and the U.S.
No, you got that like sports fan hope,
right? But you don't, and I've said this before too, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but you don't have that natural adversarial relationship between Asia and Europe, right? So they might be the better players than U.S. versus either one of them, but there's not that, and you talk to the European players, and they have felt like it's been a little bit flat. They'd rather have people.
It's not a little bit flat. It can be a little flat, and guys like Jason get up for.
They want people to hate them because that's get you motivated.
There's not the crowd hater, and I hate to bring him up, Mike, but Josh can piss a lot of people off in the best way when it comes to fans, Mike.
The Asian fans, I don't think are getting pissed at anybody. They're so respectful
right now, Mike. Right now,
well, yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they would rag them in the arena. But
bring them on in. Let's find out.
This is the first time they're here, and they're learning how to be a home crowd. And this is going to take a year or so for them to really learn what a home crowd does and how a home crowd helps your team.
Well, you can tell they're very much supporting their own, and they're supporting their own, even in terms of Filipino fans cheering for Yap, because right now he's family to them. Right now, Huang is family to him. And of course, Carlo and Efren and all these monsters that is Team Asia. And it's been a lot of fun. And you kind of see them get a little more comfortable as the event's gone on when it comes to cheering or what to say or crack a joke, which they're very witty.
And the players are trying to draw more out of them too. So you're seeing a little more interaction because they see the players are like, come on, guys, we need the energy. We feed off of that. And you see guys like Ko and Chua and even Duong, just like urging the crowd on and really milking it. Yeah. And that's fun to see. It's been great.
You can't help but root for some of these guys, but then at times you also realize like how serious an opponent they are. Like it's not a good story with the Asian players because they're all a bunch of killers. No pun intended. They're showing their class in this event, Mike, day in, day out, match in, match out, and for what you can say can be roles or missed opportunities or uncharacteristic misses or whatever cliche you want to throw in there, they're getting outplayed. They're getting outgunned. They're getting laughed out of the gym, literally in this venue, and while I think it's fine for now because it is the year one and all these things. Listen, you got a bunch of guys in the blue and yellow that aren't used to this, and they're not gonna like getting bullied around, Mike. And I'm curious to see how that response is gonna be. Now, right now, it's too little, too late. But you bring in a more formidable team to come face an Asian team, and this is why. Listen, I like a guy like Kachi, and he can play really strong, but we haven't seen him in 4 months.
Yeah, he's not competition sharp.
Well, he's not world champion. He's not world championship Kachi that we've seen. Right. There's a lot of guys, a lot of question marks. While I think there's a lot of guys who are showing their form, like I would love to have Mickey on this team for next year if he's playing to that same standard. Listen, that Josh Floyd is the real deal because not only does he bring it from a fiery standpoint and getting the crowd engaged one way or the other, the guy's a fucking killer, Mike. The guy's a monster, no, and he's not gonna be afraid to face Huang. He's not gonna be afraid to face Carlo, Chua, Ko. It doesn't matter. Bring them all. He'll face them one by one, and he'll chop them down. Or try to anyway. Yeah. And so saying Static is back. So hopefully we get the audio cleared up a little bit. I'm right here sitting by this damn audio mixer. Hopefully it clears up a little bit. They stopped it again, Mike. The referees threw in the white towel for day 3. Stopped it at 9.
I mean that's a smart play. I mean, you have to do that. They people who came in today got to see 3 matches. That's respectable. You have to make sure that people tomorrow get at least 2 matches. You can't get Asia to the Hill, come in tomorrow, play 1 match, tell everybody thanks for your ticket sales. Go home.
Because I wouldn't even want to go for that. Right. Besides the fact that having to go and work it and get get all the other stuff done. So, I think I told you earlier. I said I'd be surprised if they go past 9. Now I was hoping that the Europeans would come out swinging, but it was like, man, and listen. I thought from the beginning Team Asia was going to win this tournament. What I mean from the beginning, leaving Vietnam, I thought Team Asia was going to win this tournament. Right. But going into today, I thought, man, I'm hopeful because I love competitiveness, right? I was hopeful that the Europeans would show some fight. Now, you can tell that although before we went on, I questioned a lot of those guys when it comes to their intensity and their heart, Mike. You can tell that they were really trying. They just got punched back, and they left a lot on the table to start off the day.
They did. And that's what cost them. And then you could see the deflation pretty quickly after that, So
they took a break at 3-0 to go to the back and kind of reconvene, which is interesting because I've never seen them do that. And Carl, who was just sitting down yesterday, kind of letting everything fall apart unknowingly, he was very much involved. They took him to the back early on.
Last gasp time.
And kind of too little, too late, though, Mike.
That's the thing. And it's not. I hate to repeat stuff, but you can't flip the switch. I mean, Europe is so used to being good and dominant and dialed in and all that kind of stuff that they just feel like they can just flip the switch and all of a sudden they're on it.
Since you dropped you confirmed the payouts the other day about per man, this is a fair question. Does
the equal payout affects Team Europe's fighting spirit? I would have less respect for Team Europe. This is continental pride at stake.
It's not, but it's not the Mosconi Cup, though. Even you said that, though, Mike.
I agree. It's not the Mosconi, but it's you against Asia, and you've been bitching that you want to play Asia. You're tired of playing America. You play Asia because it'll be a match.
What you ask
it'll
for.
be better. It'll be a better match.
And but they're also professionals, and the money gets them up as well, Mike.
Well, I mean, they went years at the Mosconi Cup without money, and it was still
these guys never did. These guys never did, though. Jason Shaw never did. Mickey Krause for damn sure never did. Never did Akachi. I guarantee you his ass wouldn't have been playing for free.
If that's the case, then I hope that they pare back the money for the Mosconi Cup and the U.S. will kick their ass.
The USA needs the hope for that, and the fact that Josh won't be playing the Mosconi Cup is what they better be hoping for. Because
they might hope for that. And like I said, we talked about it yesterday, yesterday. It's interesting. The Team USA and its fans can look and say, this is what happens to Team Europe when they get punched in the mouth. And so we got to go out there and punch them in the mouth and see if they've got any fight in them. Because they're a different team. They're a different team when they're down. I mean, it was day 2.
They got no life in them, Mike. They're getting body punch after body punch after body punch, Mike.
Day 2 was only 3-2. They were only losing 3-2, right?
Yeah.
By the second match, there were guys sitting on the couch looking at their phones.
Yeah.
There was no energy there. There was no cohesiveness there. There was no anything. You just saw them like just fizzle, which was really weird to see for a team that rolled in saying our experience is going to get us through and we've got the bottle and all that kind of crap. No.
Well, I mean, you're going to have to say that, and a lot of those things were facts because Team Asia was unproven up until that point. And listen, if
Team Asia was unproven,
no,
on that
state, listen, Mike, there was some guys in Team Asia that showed some cracks. Now they got stronger as this tournament's gone on, but I would bet a decent amount of money that if the roles were reversed, you would see those guys with beads of sweat down their face on the Asian side as well.
A player or two, but not the whole team.
No, not the whole. Well, no,
I don't think the whole team.
Of course, yeah.
And when you looked at it going into this, if you looked at the top 3 for Team Asia and the top 3 for Team Europe, you like Team Asia a lot.
This is where I like that kid Chua that much more because he admitted today whenever we interviewed him that he was responsible for calling the lineups for that lineup. He was the one,
and he was the one on the first day, and he said. He told us, he said,
and he gave us the strategy.
I knew exactly what Team Europe was throwing out.
What he predicted, he outmoved the guys who have more experience in there. Mike, he said exactly who they came out with is what I thought they would come out with. And he was playing the long game because he said, you know what, I'm saving my powerhouses for the back end. I'm going to send out boys and see what they can do. That's great, Mike. That's smart leadership right there, Mike.
It's genius when it works. If it wouldn't have worked on day one, everyone would have said, what kind of stupid lineup was that?
Well, then we never know he's picking the lineup and Efren's a scapegoat and it's fine because it's Efren, so it doesn't make a difference,
Yeah, no, it's always genius when it works. And his thought process worked out perfectly for him and he looked like a genius because he said, I want, these guys can play Kwok and Yap, let's put them out there, tell them go out there and take your cuts, see how you do. And they got him the points that we talked about right away. Those are stolen points.
Willie says, I think Yap is the MVP for Team Asia. Certainly you can make that argument. But if you saw that match with Carlo, it was Carlo picking up the slack with that doubles pairing.
And it was the same when Yap played doubles with Cole.
Big shot Beato because he was getting them out of those jams left and right. And I said, I love Yap, one of the nicest guys.
And he has played solid. He's made the shot.
Very steady.
But as a partner in doubles, he has left his guy high and dry.
Huang has made great decisions, strong tactical play, run out, big shots, you name it. He's done it all for my money, and I just can't. I think there goes our food there, Mike. You want to? Yeah. It's 12:30, so we're ordering some room service here to get some late night dinner. Although we might head out to Marboy's here in a little bit as well. But look, I think that you got 5 guys who were great in Team Asia, but that lineup certainly made a difference. I think that from the European standpoint, and again, this is all hindsight, right? Like this Monday morning quarterback, you can say that they got outmoved, but Chua certainly went in there with the mindset that, hey, I want to put my guys in specific spots. I want to put my guys power on the back end, and he knew what guys that he can, I don't want to say trust more than others because it's no disrespect to Huang or Yap, and they certainly stepped up to the challenge. But man, saving Carlo and himself and Cole for the back end, he knows he gives them so much respect, and rightfully so. It's that part of it I just love. And what was even better was that after we get done with the cameras, he comes back and he's even more fired up off air talking about that strategy play and why it was so important and why he went that route, Mike.
Yeah, no, it was great to hear. And
whoops, what happened there, buddy?
I don't know.
Lights went out here. It's not that kind of party, Pinozo. I'm gonna turn on some. What the fuck is going on around here, Mike? Did we forget to pay the bill? Is that what it was? There we go. And let there be light, my man. What the fuck is going on?
Man, that's what happens with these late night shows.
Yeah, listen, you get one cocktail in you, and then the wheels just fall off. No, listen, I think that pride has shown itself when it comes to the Asian players. I think that they're not letting up by any means.
No.
And even though I wanted to be more competitive, I also like the fact that they're not going to go and stop beating you down.
No.
And every single one of them is capitalizing on mistakes. It's very rare that you see them get like a reprieve when it comes to a mistake made. And I'm super impressed with this Asian team. And you can probably argue that despite all these guys playing phenomenal, probably not the best team that Asia can send out there either, Mike, which is even scarier.
Yeah, they probably could have made it a little bit, tougher. The pick of Hong at the end was interesting. I mean, it was a good move.
I love the move in hindsight.
Yeah.
I mean, again,
and he's playing great.
He's playing great, so that helps. Yeah,
he's playing great.
But from
he's
a market standpoint, I can appreciate it.
Yes,
So
yeah, we love and everybody loves the guy. I mean, he can't speak a lick of English, and nobody can understand him.
You don't need to. He puts the ball. He
puts the ball in.
He speaks that sound of the ball hitting the bottom of the pocket.
And he's enjoying himself, and it's so
dude.
Cool
There is like seeing Yap kind of get over the struggles of the nervousness. Yeah. I love watching that, but I also love seeing Huang genuinely celebrate. And there's a lot of photos with him and Carlo and him just kind of like doing this here, but like you see him even afterwards where like he's just kind of to himself and just like,
Yeah, and you want to talk
you root
to
for
him.
that kind
we
of
do
stuff,
want to
man.
talk to him at some point. And I'm just really curious to find out what his thought process was when he got selected, because he didn't think he was going to be on the team. And then all of a sudden he gets this call and he's like Christmas morning, and now he's coming in and did he feel heat on him? Did he feel like he got a gratuitous pick? Did he have any of that pressure on himself? And is that why he's so relieved to be playing well?
Well, here's the thing: is that part of being able to compete or be on this team is being able to compete in the World 9-Ball Tour, right? He had a lot of hurdles when it comes to his ability to compete in the World 9-Ball Tour.
He wrote about it. He took a chance on this.
Yeah.
And he was willing to do it.
And that's ballsy, Mike, especially
Yes.
given everything that he deals with in his country and with the federation and all that. But to get rewarded like this, and listen, they were showing the rankings the other day. You can say this guy's number 2 or this guy's number 4 or whatever. The guy is probably at least a top 15 player in my opinion, somewhere around there. While I think some of the Europeans are not right now playing their game based off on their current ranking. But it's great. It's a great story, and it's great whenever you follow it up. I don't think it was a handout by any means, but I can tell you that whenever I spoke to him and Julie, his manager at the Perry, for a little bit, because I root for the guy, and my natural reaction is, hey, I was like, what were you feeling? And he's telling her, and she's telling me, and it was just he was hopeful, but he didn't think he had a chance,
right?
And so I was always I was. Logically, it made sense to bring in somebody from that market, but then to see him perform so well, and listen, this is after all this, then you get thought of as being a question mark, right? Or maybe quote unquote a weaker link on that team, but you more than stepped up to the plate and you knocked it out of the park, man. I love the way this guy has played pool over the last few days, Mike.
Yeah, he's played great. It's been fun to watch.
Any chance for tomorrow that there's anything that happens that's not already happening, Mike?
No,
none. No matter what.
But we start tomorrow with Chua against David.
Yeah.
And, maybe David gets a little bit of an extra chance because Chua was so wound up tonight, couldn't wait to play, and all of a sudden he's waiting until tomorrow. Maybe that works in David's favor. Who knows? But, Team Europe goes into tomorrow and, listen, none of us can lose a game. That's it. None of us can lose a game. And so
there's a
you're
good
going to
chance.
have the singles, you're going to have the double, and then just going to run out singles the rest of the day.
Look, we talk about Mosconi Cup stuff when it comes to the Americans because obviously we're both American, right? And we talk about Reyes Cup all year long as well. But there's still a pick that needs to be done with the Europeans, and there might even be 2 depending on how the next few weeks go. Do you think so? Well, hey, Josh, hope you're watching, buddy. We'd love to have you on. I know I would. No, but it's at the very beginning we mentioned there's a little bit of an elephant in the room when it comes to, hey, who's going to get that pick between David and Fran? And I'll ask you right now, if you're Jason Shaw, who are you giving that 5th pick to up until this point?
Up before this, I would say it would have been Fran for sure.
And now?
Now, I don't know. Fran has not looked really good here. And so
but he's also coming off a win at the Perry, Mike.
He is,
and he went
but
deep in Hanoi.
he did do all that, and that he can play. But I know Jason, has watched him play the last couple of days and has said, he's not played great. So, does that have any effect on it? I doubt it. I would still think he'd probably end up taking Fran, but I don't think it's the slam dunk that it was before it started.
Double J says Marboy's on the menu. We'll meet you out there. We'll get a grab and we'll link up with you guys after we get done here with the show for sure. Look, I think that Fran looked great over the last few weeks, and I think that was even with his like A minus B plus type game, getting those wins out there at the party, which for me leaves a lot of room for optimism because you haven't peaked yet, right? But and I know he's got experience on this stage. I do know that. But that safety play has been pretty terrible.
He's leaked out a lot of shots in this last couple of days, and that's it happens. You haven't had that many times at the table, right? To start with when you're playing these events, so. I think
plus
it's
you can say you're playing cautious, or you're scared to press at certain times, or you know what I mean. You're kind of putting your finger on the pulse there as far as decision making, but it hasn't been the same flash that we've seen from him over the last couple of Mosconi Cups. That's for sure. So I think that the questions are still going to be up in the air, and if they are, I don't think David's done enough to separate himself, although I love David's fight, and I love, you can tell by looking at David that he is not happy with the way things are going out there. He takes a lot of pride in competing at a super high level. I think that he'll still make the team is David, but if I'm picking one guy first, which that's Jason's choice right now, I'd probably go with Fran, just given recent form. So, and it's legitimate recent form. I mean, the Perry event was a very stacked field. And so that's where I would kind of lean on just a little bit. But man,
I'm surprised you haven't mentioned Albin's name as a potential because.
I'm
a huge Albin guy when it comes to Mosconi Cup.
I asked Emily about Albin and whenever I interviewed her there in Hanoi, because listen, you can't argue that dude's resume out there, and I know that he hasn't performed this year like he has in years past. We all know the WPA and recent posts and all that's gone on and that he's been involved with over the last month and a half. But listen, he's still Albin fucking Ocean. He's still a great execution when it comes to pressure. He's very well decorated. He's been in more finals of world championships than anybody over the last 10 plus years. He's had successes in World Cups when it comes to doubles, successes with individual play when it comes to Mosconi Cup.
His temperament is so suited.
And listen, you know what? Even though he hasn't necessarily performed at his best, maybe this year, right? We haven't seen him get a title. The thing is, we expect him to get a title, right? Because that's just what Albin does. We expect him in finals because that's just what Albin does. So maybe by his standard, he's a little subpar this year. But let me tell you, this event more than ever, his stock for me went up because it shows the value of having a guy like Albin, who even though he may be a 3 or a 4, he's as about as solid a 3 or 4 as you can ask for and dependable. Right? Yeah. And right now, they need guys who they can depend on out there with Team Europe. And and at least as it pertains to the Asians. Now, the Americans, it may be a different story, right? Because this team, I think this team will still have its hands full if it is this same 5 guys. But I'm not going to go and say that American team is going to give them as much problems as the Asian team has. That's for sure.
No, of course not.
Yeah,
of course not.
But let me ask you again: you think Josh is on the Mosconi Cup?
I don't. I just don't. Yeah, I just don't. I mean, there's nothing against Josh. I just kind of thinking it through and taking the temperature in the room. And
what's the room temperature telling you, Mike?
It's chilly.
It's a little chilly.
It's chilly. Yeah. And I don't know.
Listen,
I would be really surprised if he's on the team.
Josh not playing for Team Europe makes that event more competitive. Now, it won't be the best European team that they can put out there by any means. But, they like it being more competitive. They do, and what's gone on recently doesn't do Josh any favors.
Yeah, I don't think they pull him out because they want the event to be more competitive.
No, and nothing will ever be said when it comes to things like that, like on an official standpoint. But, they're very smart people, and so I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here. Listen, fundamentally, I'm a pool fan, Mike. And if you're going to go out there, I want to see you get your ass whooped with the best 5 or win with the best 5, whatever you're going to do, right? And so I love watching Josh Filler go and play, despite the fact that he may have, be this guy or that guy, depending, or be a hero or a villain, depending on where you're at. I love watching the kid.
You love watching good pool. You love watching aggressive pool. You love watching great shot making. And he brings all that to the table. So you love the emotion. So, yeah, who doesn't love, to watch Josh play, whether you love him or hate him, you like you like what you see when you see them out there on the table.
It's so interesting that, like, in years past, we would say, "Oh, the Europeans can put together 4 or 5 teams," and now here we are.
They've always said that, and anytime things go sideways, it's we didn't have our best players out there. I mean, U.S. won in 18-19, and you would think that Alex Kazakis, was the worst player in Europe and somehow got on the team. And it affected the 4 players ahead.
He wasn't the worst player in Europe, but he had a little bit of dog in him when it comes to being on that Mosconi Cup stage.
But he made the team.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
So, I mean, did he have dog in him when it got down to the last tournament
of the
year
he earned it.
And there were 3 guys fighting for one spot, and he won the freaking tournament.
But guys play different on that bigger stage, though.
I get that. But you earn your spot, and that means you were one of the top 5 in that year. So, that argument, if any European, if the U.S. were somehow to win this year, and anybody says, well, we didn't have Josh, you've said for years that you could field 5 teams that would beat the U.S. Well,
this is proven otherwise.
Correct.
Well, I take it back, because you may, when it comes to beating the Americans, it's different when it comes to your class on the totem pole of the world, and this is showing itself in the Reyes Cup, Mike.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody said all along the Asians are the benchmark. That's where the bar is set. And if you didn't know, now you know. There's no argument right now. Now, we go back to Josh. Would it have made a difference if Josh was here? Yeah, it wouldn't be 9-3 right now. But the Asians, I still think, would have been favored overall.
Would you like to see Asians versus the world? Bring in Federer and SVB into the mix, and let's get, although I kind of cringe at the idea of thinking like Josh and Shane on the same team, but
yeah, hugging each other after a match. I don't even want to think about it. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. No love at all for that one, Mike? No.
Where's Darren going
What's Darren saying here? I was about to say the same thing. Let's see what he says here. We'll read it along with you.
He's always interesting. Let's be honest here. The best 2 players in the team
play the last 7 years.
Jason are not playing.
That's Albin and Josh, right? Is that what he's talking about?
Yeah.
Doubles play world also, but Asia left.
Their current best player at home.
Who's that?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But Asia left their current
best or what?
Maybe a little Cole, maybe Wu Cha-Ching, maybe.
It could be. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it is what we play the games with who's there.
Well, that's where you talk about.
I don't want the whole story to be about who's not there. These are the guys there. They're all really great players.
Okay, so let me ask you this then: how much should a Carl Boyd shoulder this type of loss, Mike?
I don't think much in this case, because we know that Carl, it was semi-ceremonial. It was not,
okay,
he's not Alex. He didn't come in with the expectations, the responsibilities and the pressure of Alex Lely or Johan Royce.
But if you want to grow this, and listen, the Mosconi Cup.
Yeah, no, the captains, both
weather.
Captains next year will be different. I will tell you that right now.
Are you breaking some news or
no? I'm just saying that this first year was, we're going to make Efren captain, and this is named after Efren, and the easiest thing to do is just have Carl go ahead and do Team Europe. And so they did. Now, as you start looking ahead, and you're going to start making this really competitive, and one team's going to make more money than the other, and all these other things that people are making excuses for, then you have to get real captains into roles. And so next year, I would think that there would be 2 different captains. I would be surprised if it wasn't like Bustamante for the European and for the Asians. And
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like if Chua's already calling balls and strikes and they respect them, listen.
Yeah, well, then if you want to have playing captains, then you make Chua and Jason and be done with it, right?
I mean, Jason's already kind of taken on that more.
We thought about Jason's always going to get the role, so you may as well.
No. Well, I mean, for sure, but it's like whether you give him that official title or not, he's always going to be in that spot to some extent, and he's going to be vocal when it comes to lineups. He's going to be vocal when it comes to picking guys up. Whether outside there or inside there or whatever, but you can't go out there and get your ass kicked the way it is and expect to go and grow, because just like you said, it's not the Mosconi Cup, right? It's got to be more serious and more competitive. I think the guys did take a little bit more into it when it comes to day number 3, but by this point you were already stuck 5 games, so what difference did it make?
And coming into this, he had a huge advantage over, as far as captains go. Carl against Efren, huge difference. Carl's played in Mosconi.
They got outmoved, Mike. I mean, I know it's hindsight, but you got outmoved here when it
Yeah.
comes to the lineups.
Yes.
I mean, the shrewdness of a young
they
Chua
did
is
their
great.
lineups based on, the same way they played Team USA. And so this isn't Team USA that they're playing.
Right,
Chua
but,
took a gamble on
without
day
Albin
one.
and without Josh.
Yeah, I mean, you put a lot of stock in Albin, and that's great. But I no.
Well, are you saying you wouldn't when it comes to his Mosconi Cup record?
I wouldn't assume that he would come in here this year and be the Albin of 2021. The Albin of 2000. These guys, they're all getting older. There's a reason he's not winning as much as he has.
Shane's 41, and he's still
Shane's a different animal.
So listen, so is Albin Ocean too. And I mean, he was in a final of a European Open. What was it, a year ago, or UK Open? Right? Didn't he win that? Oh, he won that, and he was in a final last year.
No, he didn't win last year. He won. He finished final in Hanoi.
Well, he was the final of Hanoi, but he also won the European or UK when he beat Shane in the last 2 years as well.
A couple of years.
That's what I mean, though. Like you expect different from him because we're used to it's title or bust, right? That's not the case for most guys, but he isn't most guys. And for me, in a better way. Now, I'm not saying these guys who are on Team Europe aren't deserving, right? Because you can make an argument for any of these guys, right? David's been about as steady a mid 45-year-old or younger or 20-year-old, whatever, as anybody, right? He's showing that with his ranking. The guy's playing jam up no matter what, Mike. Fran coming off form when it comes to Perry, but that was after getting announced. Mickey, probably their best player from a tournament standpoint, as you can ask for, and Jason with all of his pedigree. I mean, you can't argue, but it's like, look, there's holes here. There's got to be some there's got to be some shifts here. It's not going to be the same five either coming back for next year.
For next year's Team Europe,
yeah.
No, probably won't be the same five. And part of that's because of the competitiveness of Europe. It's tough to stay in that top three year after year.
And David's doing it pretty good,
Not in the top three.
What was he? He was top 4, 5.
Well, David was a wild card pick.
Yeah,
he didn't get an automatic spot.
Okay, let me ask you this: if you're going to take, there's tournaments starting tomorrow. Who are you taking and last longer between him and Kachi?
Starting tomorrow, David.
So would a lot of people.
Yeah,
and I mean that, and I mean that with all due respect. That's what I mean though. When it comes to the rankings, kind of be a little deceiving, and especially look, it goes back to how weighted that World Championship is. Because Kachi basically put his feet up for the last few months after being in that second spot and said, hey, you know what? My goals were already accomplished. And God bless you for that because he earned that, right, with that finish. But I think something's got to give when it comes to not putting that amount of weight on that event, Mike.
No, I don't. I disagree. I disagree because not many players are going to take it the way Kachi took it. Federer didn't. Federer's played in everything since then. Go play in most players will. Kachi has that type of makeup where he's like,
what kind of
okay,
makeup?
I'll see you guys in November. Okay,
Right.
I got a little beach time coming up. I'm gonna relax.
That's 6 figures. Why not?
Yeah, right. So,
yeah.
But he's the exception to the rule as far as players who would take that attitude after finishing in the top 2 at the World Championship.
How many games do the Europeans win tomorrow, Mike?
1.
All right, you heard it here from Penosa. We'll see you guys.
Games or matches?
Well, matches. Well, hopefully they win more than one game. Yeah, hopefully more than one game. Big shout out to all of our sponsors. Tomorrow is the last day. We'll get some more player interviews and hopefully get some fun memorabilia to give out to you guys tomorrow or the next coming weeks as well. I got a few more days out here in the Philippines, then I get to go back home to USA. So it's been a lot of fun.
How many matches tomorrow?
I guess the line will probably be around 1.5 from a betting standpoint. I'm gonna take. I'm
win 2 matches to win.
Yeah, no, I would. Well, okay. Would you say 2 then? 2. So 2 is a push.
2.5. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd probably say 2 would be the line, and then of course 2 would be the push. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that these guys don't fold. They show a little bit of heart. I think they win 3, but at the end of the day, they're still outgunned, and Team Asia is a better team.
Yeah, well, if they win, it's going to be because they got into the singles matches, and if they get into singles matches, you got to go heavy early, and Team Asia doesn't have to go heavy early.
No.
So you would likely have Jason against Wang, or that type of thing for a couple of singles matches before you start rolling in your Coes and your Beatos and your Chuas.
Yeah.
So that's
a
to me how it would get.
That's a strong
that's
three,
a strong
Mike. That's a
back end.
strong three, Mike, for sure.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm real happy for a lot of these guys, especially these Asian players. When you know that they've wanted this for so long, they've wanted to be invited to this party for so long, they felt like they deserved it, and they're showing here that they did. So, anyhow, thanks everybody for hanging out with us. We're gonna go enjoy the BLT.
Yeah,
and
fries are getting cold.
Mike's got another cocktail to go and finish off. We'll see you guys tomorrow, and big shout out to all of our sponsors. Thanks.